In Nigeria, an increasing gap in residential homes is estimated at 17 million units as of 2013. Most Nigerians aspire to own houses, decent and affordable houses, but access to long-term mortgages that will support their housing aspiration remains a challenge. Countries like Egypt, India, Jordan and Malaysia, where the mortgage market is actively supported, are resolving their housing crisis, sustaining market growth, and are significantly contributing to national development.
In other countries, housing and the developments in the housing sector really help to create jobs, something to believe in the country, because everybody wants their own home. And putting in place a system, the NMRC, will kick in more liquidity, more resources into the economy so that private mortgage institutions can lend more and give out more mortgages within the country.
The public-private partnership in the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company will transform the mortgage market in Nigeria, as we have seen in other countries such as Malaysia and India. I have no doubt that the same can be achieved in Nigeria.
In this stead, the government of Nigeria is taking 4 fundamental steps to provide an inclusive housing market. Prudent fiscal policies by the government will continue to produce a reduction in inflation and impact on market conditions. This macro policy, in line with states' improvements to land administration, is the foundation to housing access for all. By creating access to finance, the suppressed demand is transformed into effective demand. The housing and mortgage markets become more inclusive when financial innovation takes the lead. This will increase housing access to a larger percentage of the population.
How are you? About 5 years ago, we had the desire to live in our own house. So we decided that it's better for us to buy a property that is already built. But the finance was an issue. So we approached our mortgage bank. We came back home, we put pen to paper. So we got the loan finance, the properties of the document were submitted to the bank, and the payment was done. Here we are, we live in our own house.
The loan I took, I've deposited for planks. The building will be roofed this weekend. They will start the roofing, they will bring the planks this weekend. By Monday, we'll start roofing. And the remaining part of the loan was used for the Nigeria the sheets, the roofing sheets. So with that, I think the house will be 80%, or let me say 90% completed.
Creating an instrument like the NMRC is an important opportunity. It's essentially the building block for developing a housing market in Nigeria. And what international experience tells us is that it's also critical to job creation. So we're excited about it, and we think that it's a big opportunity to strengthen the housing market, build more homes, but also create more jobs in Nigeria.
Currently, the Nigerian market operates on short-term deposits with tenor periods between 1 to 3 years. This increases funding maturity mismatch.
This means we have deposits of short-term nature, and we need to lend long-term for mortgages. As mortgage banks, we would love to do mortgages of 20 years and upwards, but we just don't have those funds. Now with the Nigeria Mortgage Refinancing Company, you'll find long-term money. Customers would now be happier and more able and willing to engage and take mortgage loans at affordable prices.
What this institution does is that on the strength of a guarantee, which would be the initial credit protector to the investors, it basically goes to the bond market, it raises long-term money, probably 10 years, maybe even up to 20-year bonds, and then it uses the proceeds of the cash it was received and then use that to on-lend to your commercial or your mortgage bank for them to then provide, I would say, up to 20-year mortgages to the average Nigerian citizen. For the country realizing this and making sure that this happens at this very crucial time in the history of Nigeria, I think is commendable.
The establishment and progress of Malaysia's National Mortgage Corporation, known as Kagamas, is a model for the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company, NMRC.
Kagamas is basically the Malaysian equivalent of the Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Company. It would basically encourage banks to lend long-term, knowing fully well that there's a refinancing facility for them that will basically free up the funds which have been lent, thereby deepening the mortgage market and making the industry a lot more resilient.
NMRC is a public-private partnership providing mortgage liquidity facility for longer-term lending.
I see it having at least three effects. NMRC will, one, make it possible to have long-term loans, longer-term tenors for loans in this country. Secondly, have a reduction in interest rates. And thirdly, in doing so, will make it possible for a lot more houses to be developed. That means house prices hopefully will come down. NMRC will have an effect in terms of creating additional jobs.
Access to housing is acutely constrained, especially for people at the bottom end of the society. Housing for them is not just a dwelling place. It's also a place for their businesses. And therefore, having an initiative as this, that is the Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Company, is a welcome development.
I'm very happy to be the person privileged to open this office, the first abode of the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company. Offices. This is nice. We present to you the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company.
To increase the supply of affordable housing, the World Bank, the federal government of Nigeria and state governments will work with the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company to improve the environment for private sectors to operate. In effect, more opportunities for jobs and wealth are created for the people.
Actually, it's not as if we just wake up and went and say, well, let's establish a market. No, a lot of work was put into it for the benefit of Nigerians. And I think it's a matter of time, and it will not be too long that we'll start to see the difference in terms of housing delivery as far as mass housing is concerned for these countries.
The NMRC is a revolutionary means of really kicking off the housing sector in Nigeria. We're totally committed to its success, and we all need to get behind it and support it.